Well, hello there. Welcome to today's bonus reading. It is a new moon solar eclipse. If you didn't know, today on the 17th, if you're listening on the day of the upload, it's okay if not. You might need to just hear this whenever you're listening. I'm going to start today with an oracle message just because I was guided to sit down and do this reading. I did not plan to do an eclipse reading today, to be completely honest. And then when I sat down and was going to pull an oracle, I was then again guided to not actually shuffle the cards. I was guided to flip through the guidebook, which I was curious as to why, but I understand now because the page that I landed on in this particular guidebook, I would have never pulled a card on it because it's not a card. There are just a couple of like poems throughout this guidebook that are all about loving who you are, loving yourself. And so that is the page that I landed on, and I'm going to share that message with you now. This poem is called The Hive. Hush now. The wounds run deep, but the bees are full of knowing. They know the hive of your heart, each crooked, curled chamber, each hopeful, hidden curve, each darkened holding cell. They have come with wings and song and pollen. They have come to harvest each mistake, each broken vessel, to touch the jagged edges of betrayal and lost chances, to collect your failures one by one, making honey from the bitter, making music in the void, making wings where there were wounds. Hush now, sleep well. The night is alive with forgiveness, and your heart is a hive made for honey, made for love. So I love that. If self-forgiveness is something that you struggle with, if there are past mistakes that you've made that are resurfacing right now, allow yourself to just process that. Try to be gentle, as gentle as you can with yourself as you deal with these things. This reading is really clear to me. To you, my dear, I feel like you have been caught between these two big decisions. These are like life decisions. We are starting out with two major arcana. In the 8 cards that I have, 6 of them are major arcana. So this is a big life decision. This is a big change for a lot of you guys. It is literally talking about moving. All right. But big life changes. This is literally like about what to pursue, and for a lot of you guys, what you're doing with your life. Okay. To start out, and the reason why I'm seeing that there's confusion is because in both directions there's like drastic change. Do you know what I mean? Like this is about and I feel like you're trying to find the role that best fits that. Where we're getting into a little bit of trouble is still we have not fully let go of certain expectations and of certain fears and stepped fully into the version of ourselves that would make this decision abundantly clear. Okay, because we have on the one side, I'm just going to call it option A and option B. Maybe even take a second to assign yourself, what those may be. And you might surprise yourself with what you hear. Okay. With option A, we have judgment. With option B, we have death. The context of this judgment is saying it is an opportunity to kind of redo, but I don't think you want a redo. I don't think you're trying to, go back and be like, I wouldn't make that same mistake if I was in that position, being where I am now and knowing what I know now. Whereas this death is like total renewal. This it is a rebirth. It is giving yourself the opportunity to grow without these, the past. Judgment is really about like the past is coming up again, and it's asking you if you want to repeat that. It's like, do you really want to ride this ride again? Do you understand what I'm saying? And the thing about option A is that on paper it looks good. On paper, it checks the boxes. On paper, it's the thing that, according to society's rules, are like what you should be doing with where you're at and where you're trying to get, right? It seems like the practical approach, it's the safe approach. On the other hand, option B with death, it's scary because it is new. It's scary because it's more of a dream. It's scary because it's a vision that you have for a life where you are fully empowered in doing what it is that you want to do regardless of what society says you should be doing or what is the practical, the safe route, right? The carved path. Moving forward, I'm going to go back and forth, back to option A, right? There is a level of avoidance here, of not looking here. And I think what is like the main thing that we need to look at is truly about how fulfilled you would be in this role. We're avoiding a certain truth, and there is an underlying fear that is pushing us towards that direction. It's like, well, what are you going to do if like, why are you not, you know what I mean? It's like, this is, there would be a kind of a safety net, but I want you to imagine if you like fell into a safety net, like the rope would burn and the kind of gaps in there would like leave marks on your body and you aren't fully supported, where like there is like, you know what I mean? Like the level, like you would make it through, right? None of this is wasted. But and if you can imagine, like I'm literally seeing somewhere where it's like if you can see like a big net in a forest and it's tied, you know what I mean, to 4 different trees. Just one second. My laptop came unplugged, so the battery's dying. Um okay. It is tied to 4 trees, right, like at each corner, so that it's held up. Imagine dropping into that and then trying to like stand up and like walk on that. Doable but difficult, right? You would have to like make sure that you were intentional about like stepping on the knots so that your feet are supported. Like you could, you know what I mean? Like, and again, if you slip through, if there was a misstep, it would hurt and it would be a struggle to get up. But it's not to say that like this isn't some like life ending decision, but I think what is calling you towards it is the subconscious pattern. It is the known, and the known is not what has been really working out for us in terms of fulfillment. Even if like you are like you have the money, you have like, you know what I mean, things are taken care of. What's not being so taken care of is like your spirit's desire for freedom and true expression. You know what I mean? So that is kind of a truth that we're avoiding, where it's like this is rooted more in fear than I think you are allowing yourself to fully consciously like acknowledge, right? Why we're being moved in that direction. On the other hand, option B, we have the chariot. Okay. Completely different energy. Like this is I mean, being I'm just getting more like confidence, like self-assuredness, um right? Like just I'm really like it's like the confidence to move forward. And even right now I'm getting like you aren't super clear on that path, because even within like the imagery of this chariot in this deck, it's a car with like headlights on, and it's moving through a storm, like it's heavy rain, you know what I mean? You can't see anything else in the background, but it really is like it's moving forward. And even I'm seeing like this imagery that doesn't normally stick out to me. It looks like a dove that's kind of like, you know how like on Jaguars they have like the jaguar that's like the kind of, it's like a little figure, you know what I mean, on the hood of the car. This one looks like I believe it's a dove. It's a white bird. But I'm getting, it's like this is even maybe something that could be, I'm just getting a sense of innocence tied to it, a sense of like purity. Maybe it's something like you've had a kind of like a dream since like you were a child and it's kind of rooted in that. But I feel like this is like just moving forward. There's a sense of like purity in what it is that you want to do and like your motivations for doing it. It's a lot more clear, if that makes sense. Moving back to option A, this is the ultimate, like, what is to happen if you were to choose this path, is where we are, right? The conclusion, the kind of the outcome. We have the 7 of Wands, which again is to say, you would be able to find your footing, but it would be a bit of a struggle, a bit of a challenge. You would have to persevere. It's very much like if you do step onto this path, I'm getting there's some kind of obligation that maybe is even tied to time, like you would have to be there for a certain length of time. And again, you could do it. Would you have the most fun or enjoyment doing it? No, you wouldn't. Option B, we have the world. Okay. Number 21, we have reached, you know what I mean, completion, success, fulfillment. Bing, bang, boom. All right. And I mean, seeing like travel again, if this is like what your kind of heart desires, or if you feel like, wherever this is taking you, I think it would naturally take you even if we're not being so literal, even though I do see like travel, I think it would free you up and maybe you just want to travel. But for a lot of you guys, it's like your work itself will kind of take you in that direction. But overall, a freedom. And I'm getting just overall like a sense of being able, like freedom with yourself. Splitting the deck, we opened on the Fool, which underneath we have the Wheel of Fortune, the Queen of Wands, and then the Lovers at the bottom of the deck. It's very clear that option B is like what your heart, what your soul, what your spirit is like singing about, really wants you to do. There is like it's the you that you envision when you envision, like if you could just be yourself without any type of fear. It's that. This is that. And like, yes, it's still a little scary right now. Yes, you don't, feel all the way ready, whatever the hell that even feels like. But sometimes you have to do it with the fear. It dissipates along the way. It's not fully clear at the time, but it's okay, because what you have to understand is like the fear doesn't matter so much. Stop putting so much weight into how you're feeling. Feelings, and a lot of people don't really understand this when we get into spiritual work. Feelings can help us kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Feelings and intuition are not the same thing, is what I will say. Okay. Feelings are often things that are conditioned into us. And you even hear people talk about their instincts or their gut feelings. And like, yes, your gut, when it's clear and connected to your intuition, can guide you in that way. But oftentimes the gut is like the conditioned fear. It's the thing that says, well, I'm uncertain. We haven't been here before. I don't know exactly what's going on. So it's better safe than sorry. We're gonna pump you with this feeling so that you move away from it, because what if, right? It's the what if. Get away from that. Get out of that. That's not what this is about anymore. You don't have to reside in that space anymore. This is about bringing now the physical. We're bringing that up to what our awareness is, what we've been knowing and believing and moving towards. Okay. This is about getting on every level on track, but you have to make the move. Okay. Trust yourself, trust in your vision, trust in your dream. You can do this. This isn't spiritual woo woo. I know you literally, literally, you can do this. Okay. Give yourself the chance, full send it, and you will be pleasantly surprised, beyond pleasantly surprised. It's everything that you want. Okay. And more that you can't even think of right now. All right. That's all I got for you guys. I love you. Stay safe. Be careful. I don't know if you've been looking into, the Lunar New Year. Read a little bit about the Chinese zodiac and what's going on with this fire horse year, okay? Because there are some, cautions just generally. If you can avoid conflict, do that. Stay rooted in your meditative practices, whatever it is that keeps you calm, that keeps you grounded. Arguments and conflict are unnecessary. If you can avoid big crowds and things like that, do it, okay? Just take care of yourself. I love you guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.